Hello. This is the second video from North American Firefighter Veteran Network on the internet, firefighterveteran.com. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been happening in the American Fire Service. That is the increase in suicide rates, and more importantly, the anecdotal evidence that's coming to us through the speed of the internet, which is giving us a better understanding of what's happening to us as firefighters and within our culture as firefighters and firefighter veterans. The subject of depression and suicide is not new to North American Firefighter Veteran Network. If you go online to firefighterveteran.com, you'll find our website. It's been online since late September of 2006. We started out slow. Since 2006, we've had over 455,000 hits from firefighters from throughout the world: Russia, China, Japan, Great Britain, Argentina, Chile, to name a few. The majority of our hits, though, however, are coming from the United States and Canada. And as such, we think there's a reason for that. And the reason is that there is curiosity about what's happening to us in terms of our emotional content. Firefighter Veteran talks about the onion inside here. We all, as firefighter veterans, have an onion. We keep it deep down inside of our chests, somewhere around the pivotal area of the heart. And like anything else, an onion is a vegetable in terms of the vegetableness of what it is. If we leave it alone, it'll rot, like any vegetable will. And if we leave alone the onion inside of us, it'll rot us from the inside out. We have a choice: let it rot us from the inside out, in which case it'll decompose and create a stink and a mess inside. We have all seen an onion and what it looks like after it's rotted, at least hopefully most of us have. If not, do the experiment at home. Take an onion, put it in a bag, and let it rot and see what it looks like. It's not pretty. Or, as we here at Firefighter Veteran talk to each other about, we take the onion outside of ourselves, unzip, reach inside, take it out. There it is. Now you can leave it out, let it air, put it back in, or you can leave it out, make a decision to do something with it. Cut it, peel it, but address it. And that's very similar to our feelings in regards to being firefighters and what we've seen. Our trauma trunk is full of onions. The dead, the not so dead, the maimed, and the injured. And we deal with them, each and every one of us, in our own way. Firefighter Veteran wants you to start to talk about it amongst yourselves. And in talking about it amongst yourselves, take it on, take it apart. But remember this: when your trauma trunk of memories tips over and all the onions come rolling out, all the dead bodies that you've been exposed to, if it's one, then it's one. If it's two, then it's two. If it's 100, then it's 100. Depends on how long your career is. Whether you're a professional, unionized, or volunteer, we all have our trauma trunk of memories, our trauma trunk of memories. When that trauma trunk tips over, we try to put those body parts back in the way we used to have them stacked. Inside of here, at the onion, or up in here in the head. And for us, for those of us who have been affected by the post-traumatic stress, the issue becomes one of a continuous cycle of trying to put those body parts back in the trunk, the trauma trunk of memories. Unfortunately for us, they don't all go back in the same way. The lid doesn't go back on the same way. And we spend an extraordinary amount of our day, our waking moments, even our sleeping moments, trying to put that trauma trunk back together. And it doesn't work anymore. And for those of us who can't make it work anymore, that is PTSD for the firefighter veteran. So we deal with the onion that's in the trunk, the onions that are in the trunk, the bodies, the body parts, the old, the young, the children, and We cope until we can't cope. And when we can't cope anymore, we come apart. And before we come apart, some of us choose to destroy ourselves through suicide. The method doesn't matter how. It is the suicide that takes place within the mind so that the body functions no more. We're gone. We're lost. We are lost in the emotional smoke of the events that surround us. We need to get connected to the hydrant of information, use large diameter thinking, gate back the 1.5 inches from our heads to our hearts, gate it back to a safe working emotional pressure, and start talking about it with trained clinicians and professionals who are culturally competent and who understand our work and understand some of our trauma and understand that we need to get it out. Because if we don't, much like the onion that we leave alone inside of us, it's going to rot us. It's going to take us down a terrible path of hopelessness, haplessness, and despair. And before we get there, before we go down that path, while we're still healthy, let's start talking about it. And if we start getting unhealthy, let's start getting connected to the professionals that can help us, the psychologists and the psychiatrists, the caregivers, the therapy givers who know how to treat us. The information is there. So about the spike in suicides, a spike in depression that leads to suicide in our fire service, it's always going to be there. Need not be there in the large volume that is starting to get everybody's attention. And until we get out there and start talking about it on the speaker circuit, which I hope to do in the next number of months, then we need to talk this way. And this is the way I'm talking with you. And if you're a firefighter veteran, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a family member, you've been wounded, you've heard all the stories, that's vicarious wounding. If you're an individual who is well and is a firefighter or a first responder in law enforcement or EMS or fire standalone, and you're well and you're looking at this video, good. There might be some useful information to glean here. But remember this, we're all occupationally at risk in the choice of first responder work that we have made. Now let's get connected and let's start talking about it and let's start working the onion. Let's start that process so that we can reduce the statistics on first responder suicide, whether it's law or EMS or fire, and get those statistics down to where they are going to be more normal, at least more normal than what it's been lately, because lately it really looks bad. And it's not about looking bad, it's about wondering and asking the question, why are we going down this road? And the actual reason is because we're not dealing with it. So that's all I have to say for round 2 on this video. We'll post it on our website. Hopefully some of you will look at it. Those of you who believe in yourselves, who believe you don't have a problem, great, I'm happy for you. We at Firefighter Veteran wish you all the best in your career choices. But those of us who are looking for answers, those of you who are looking for answers, we have some of them, and we can get you connected to the help. Private and confidential. You don't have to report to your own departments. You don't have to go through the web links. Quite frankly, firefighterveteran.com realizes that many departments that can set up a website with private, confidential login numbers. Sorry, too much data mining going on there and too much ability to trace back to your IP address. So we think that private is the way to go. West Coast Post-Trauma Retreat out of San Francisco, just north of San Francisco. Totally private. You own the notes. Won't ruin your career. Certainly will help you to debrief in a proper, culturally competent setting. So the on-site center, the Tri-Services Center at West Coast Post-Trauma Retreat is there for you. If not there, then a competent clinician in your local area, and get connected. If you are suicidal in this video, presentation, we're going to ask that you contact an emergency crisis center and get checked in and start talking about it. But above all, do not isolate yourself. Seek others. Talk to a friend. Get it out. Don't keep it inside. Don't let that onion rot you. Don't let that onion take you out of life. God bless. Peace be with you. Take care. Firefighterveteran.com is there for you 24/7, 365. That's it.